Hey guys, welcome to this week's track guide. This time we'll be showing you the Shell V-Power Motorsports block, also affectionately known as the Bend, I think, in the BMW GTP car. So with this being a new circuit on the calendar and also being especially added to iRacing, there is not really a lot of experience values to go off of in terms of explaining the track, and I'm sure there's still a bit of time to be found here and there. But overall, I think I think we get a decent idea at this point. So you'll be approaching turn 1, which is a pretty sharp, almost 180-degree right-hander at pretty much full speed, pretty much the highest speed on the circuit. And you'll be looking out to, on your left-hand side for your braking marker, and just turn 1, and the upcoming complex at full speed looks like this. So this all being one interconnected section because one corner pretty much leads into the other, so you cannot really explain one corner without immediately going on to the other. So yeah, but let's just dissect turn 1 for the time being. So turn 1, you'll be looking out for the blue cone on the left hand side, which also marks the end of the pit exit more or less. But this cone on the left is a pretty reliable reference point as to when you want to be fully committed onto the brakes. And yeah, as per usual, try and get most of the slowing part done as long as you're traveling in a straight line. And as soon as you start turning in, which will be right around where this speaker starts going out of view, and yeah, right around that point you'll be starting to turn in, and all this time you'll be trail braking and trying to get as close as you can to the inside sausage curb. You're pretty much all over the flat part of the curb, but you try your best not to clip the sausage curb because it will unsettle your car. It's not as violent, and also you're not really traveling at high enough speed for it to be really a danger or anything, but it will just put you offline slightly, and which yeah, ultimately will just end up costing you lap time. And right as you start approaching the curb, you can start feeding the throttle back in again. But you'll be looking to not really, or you have to sacrifice some of the exit in order to open up this upcoming section right here. So at most you want to be coming out at around 2/3 of the track width to the left, because if you come out way too far to the left, this upcoming left turn will be a bit of an issue. So at most you want to be coming out of turn 1 right around here on this part of the track. And yeah, right as you approach turn 2, you have a brief moment of full throttle, and right as you approach turn 2 once again, you start breathing off the throttle once again because you need to keep the car on as far to the left hand side as you can for turn 3, which we'll be coming onto in a bit. But for turn 2 itself, or as far as turn 2 itself goes, once again try and bring the car as close as you can to the sausage curb without touching the sausage curb, because once again the sausage curb in this instance it really does unsettle the car. So speaking from experience, yeah, try your best to hook the car onto the curb, onto the flat part, but not on the sausage curb itself. And yeah, as I've alluded to earlier, you want to swing the car to the left or keep the car as far to the left as possible before braking for turn 3. And this right here, like this swinging the car to the left, isn't really to sort of open up the angle in order to carry more speed or anything, but it's really just to get the car angled for the exit of turn 3, which where a wide entry into turn 3 helps, obviously. So it's not really as such to carry more speed or anything. Well, I mean, ultimately it is, but it's not really for the reasons you might think initially, because the car is pretty grip limited anyway, so it doesn't really make much sense to just travel more meters ultimately. But the point here being that you want to angle the car to be pointing pretty much to the right as you pass the apex of the corner itself. Like, you shouldn't really be facing away from the corner at any point. So right as you pass the apex here, the car should be pretty much in line or pretty much aligned with the inside curb itself. So you want to stay on the inside as long as possible, feed the throttle back in, and you shouldn't really be having to use any of this outside part right here because, yeah, as I pointed out earlier, the car is pretty grip limited anyway, so this whole wide entry into turn 3 is basically just to get as straight an exit out of turn 3 as possible. And yeah, right thereafter, this upcoming section right here is basically flat out, so I'm just gonna talk over it. maybe this left-hand kick right here. It is a bit of a tricky one, especially on the outlap. But from lap 2 at latest onwards, it should be easily flat out. So yeah, no issues there. And you'll be coming out on the far right-hand side, exiting turn 5 at this point, I think it is. Approaching turn 6, which at full speed looks like this. So on the approach for turn 6, you'll be staying on the far right hand side, and your reference point for this corner, or for the braking point in this instance, will be the 100 meter board on the left. It is a bit tricky to see because it's yeah, it is blocked by the A pillar pretty early on, so you'll just have to guesstimate at that point, or have pretty much make your best guess as far as when you're aligned with the 100 meter board goes. So yeah, at this point, yeah, that's when the 100 meter board starts going back into view when passing it. So yeah, pretty much as soon as it starts going out of view, which would, in terms of meters or in terms of distance from the corner, it would be at around 115 meters or something, I think. And yeah, as for the corner itself, it is a bit off camber, and the incline of the circuit, or the incline of the track, starts going downhill ever so slightly. Right as the speed starts to drop and right as the downforce starts going away. So you need to make sure that you don't outbrake yourself or don't carry any sort of imbalance into this corner, because as I've said, the corner starts dropping away from you, it's slightly off camber, right as the downforce starts dropping off. So yeah, at this point you want to get most of the slowing part done for real this time in as straight a line as possible. And yeah, try and hook the car as close as you can, if not slightly onto the curb itself, and try to, yeah, once again get it pointed towards the exit as fast as, or as quickly as possible, in order to have a straight exit. And yeah, once again, or maybe one more thing, that it is pretty easy to have a rear lock or even a front lock, or yeah, both of them actually. So if you survived most of the braking zone without locking your fronts, there is still danger of locking the rears. So you want to make sure that you don't carry any sort of imbalance or any sort of oversteer into the apex of this corner. So you'll see me sawing away at the wheel ever so slightly in order to feed the car into the corner as smoothly as I can, in order to not carry any sort of imbalance into the corner. So that helps you, yeah, that helps you keep your rear tires in check in order to get a straight or get as smooth an exit as possible once you're able to hit the gas once again. So yeah, exiting turn 6, right thereafter follows turn 7, which is a basically flat out right-hander. And yeah, this, I'm not sure how much I should show at full speed, but yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna show this whole upcoming section at full speed. So I think that will do for now. Turn 7 itself, it follows straight after turn 6, so you'll be approaching it at, yeah, not really breakneck speed, so the car should be good to take it flat out pretty easily. Maybe not on the outlet, but lap 2 or 3 at latest onwards, you should be able to take turn 7 basically flat out. And yeah, right thereafter follows turn 8, which is also a really fast right-hander, which, if you force the issue, or if you set up the car in a way that allows for a lot of high-speed rotation, you can take it flat pretty easily, I think. But yeah, you'll see me breathe off the throttle ever so slightly, which the whole point of that being that it is only one of 3 upcoming right-handers at that point. So I'm doing my best here to just yeah, ease some of the pain off of the front tires in order to have some fronts left for the upcoming 2 right-handers thereafter. So yeah, at that point you can take it flat and you can really push the issue here, but yeah, in order to get as much of the tires out of, or get as much out of the tires as possible, especially over a stint, it helps to just be conservative here a little bit and ever so slightly take some speed out of it in order to allow the car to rotate without having to force it into the corner. So yeah, after turn 8, pretty much thereafter follows turn 9. As I've alluded to earlier, it's the second out of 3 right-handers here. And all you're doing here is just, yeah, you'll see me manipulate the throttle and brake ever so slightly, feeding some throttle back in, braking ever so slightly. All I'm doing here is just feel out the grip of the front of the car. And yeah, at no point I really want to be inducing any sort of understeer. Like as long as I feel like the front is loaded ever so slightly, that's when I try and feed some throttle back in. And as soon as I feel the front going away, that's when you start ever so slightly trail braking again in order to shift some of the balance forwards, in order to get the car, yeah, settled down on the fronts once again. And yeah, it's pretty easy to overload the fronts here. And feeding into turn 10, I think, yeah, turn 10. At this point, once again, you try to get as close to the sausage curb as possible on the inside, without actually touching it. Yeah, you're basically good to go on every part of the curb apart from the sausage curb here. And yeah, feed the throttle back in, and you'll be coming out pretty far to the left-hand side. Try your best to swing the car back over towards the right for turn 11 and 12. I think turn 11 and 12. Yeah, upcoming left and right hander. Yeah, the upcoming section at full speed looks like this. So exiting turn 10, as I've pointed out earlier, you want to be swinging the car back over towards the right as much or as really not as far as possible, but just ever so slightly in order to open up or in order to get the car angled correctly in order to approach turn 11 and 12. So you'll be coming out at around 3/4 of the track width to the left, I think, and yeah, pretty much yeah, all this time you're staying full throttle in order to maximize the speed, obviously. But before you start transitioning, or before you start shifting the weight of the car towards the right-hand side, in order to allow the car to transition the weight in a bit more of a smoother way, once again start breathing off the throttle as soon as you start turning towards the left. And basically, pretty much straight thereafter, you start to trail brake into turn 11. And you should not be going off the brakes at no point right after this point. There, until you've approached turn 12, you shouldn't really be lifting off of the brakes once again. So you can take a bit of liberties in terms of not going onto the brakes too aggressively, or actually you shouldn't be going onto the brakes too aggressively, because that will shift the weight of the car forwards too aggressively and induce a lockup or just overload the fronts at this point. And yeah, after going through a triple right-hander, you'll be hard pressed to, or you'll be on the limit of the left front tire anyway. So you just do your best to have a smoother throttle or a smoother brake input as possible. And once again, try and get as close, but not onto the sausage curb once again. Like at most, get rather close to it, obviously, as close as you can. And yeah, all this time, whilst you're going through the left-hander and also whilst going over the left-hand curb, you're basically only trail braking. Like your maximum sort of input should be around maybe 10-15% at most. Like you'll see me approach like between 5 and 10 all the way through. And right as you start approaching turn 12, that's when you have a brief moment of straight line. That's when you can start, or that's when you have a brief moment of just a bit more aggressive brake input in order to slow the car down for turn 12, obviously. And yeah, straight thereafter, once again you start turning in, and once again transition into the trail braking phase for turn 12. And this curb right here, it allows for quite an aggressive, it allows for you to use it quite aggressively, I would say. You can even use some of the AstroTurf on the inside here, and that's basically also your reference point as far as when you can go back on throttle here. Like right as you pass this AstroTurf right here, if you've slowed the car down enough to a point where the front will not be overloaded, right after passing this AstroTurf right here, you can feed the throttle back in, and but once again be wary that you will run out of left front tire pretty quickly here because of the corners you've just gone through, and the left front tire being pretty much on the limit already as it is. And yeah, just be mindful that feeding the throttle in smoothly will still allow the front to rotate the car ever so slightly, and also accelerating the car with the increasing throttle input, obviously. And yeah, this set of cones on the exit, just a tidbit of mine. When doing the data pack, I've run over this set of cones a few times, so there is a good chance you will catch one of the cones underneath your front left wheel. So you don't really want to be doing that. At most, run the car out wide onto the AstroTurf right here. And yeah, thereafter, bring it back over towards the tarmac as soon as you can. And pretty much stay on the left-hand side, because you'll be approaching turn 13, which at full speed looks like this. so approaching turn 13, you're already on the left-hand side from exiting the previous corner, and you have pretty easily visible brake markers on the left. And right as you pass, or pretty much halfway between the 150, which 75 meters, right between these two boards, or right around halfway between these two boards, you want to start committing onto the brakes. It will be a pretty sharp but also pretty brief brake input as long as you're traveling straight. And for this corner itself, you can see that it is in an incline, and it's also slightly cambered. So you can take quite a lot of speed into this corner, but be mindful that the incline and the camber runs out pretty much as you start exiting the corners. So you have a bit of, or my recommendation here would be to turn in a bit later than maybe the angle of the corner would suggest, because as I've said, this corner, the incline and the camber runs out pretty much as soon as you start approaching the exit. So if you're still, or if the car is still pointed a bit too much towards the left, the missing camber and the missing incline of what you've previously gone through will cause you to have a lot of understeer all of a sudden. So yeah, try your best to turn in a bit later than the angle would suggest, and you will be able to use the incline and the camber of the all the more. So yeah, and as far as the exit goes, once again, you have a bit of curb and a bit of extra curb and astroturf and all this stuff is. Yeah, try your best to maybe not use all of it, because it is a bit of, as you can see here, it's a bit of everything really, and it's really a bit of an undefined mess here as far as the extra space on the outside goes. So obviously, if you're on a push lap and you feel like pushing the issue, you can make full use of it, but more often than not, this transition back over towards the tarmac will just, yeah, negate all the momentum you may have gained and will ultimately result in the same lap time, and you've overstressed the fronts a bit too much. So it's not really, I haven't really found any sort of major advantage in really pushing the issue right up close towards the gravel. So yeah, you can try it obviously, but yeah, I haven't really found my way around it yet. And yep, right after turn 13, I think we've just gone through, you'll be pretty much straight into swinging the car back over towards the right for turns 14, 15, and 16, which at full speed look like this. So when exiting turn 13, you're pretty much on the far left-hand side, which yeah isn't really ideal because you want to swing the car back over towards the right. And if you can, try and realign it with the right-hand side as much as you can before stepping onto the brakes. But as you can see here, whilst like the moment I'm committing onto the brakes, I'm still not really realigned with the right-hand side. So allow for a bit of buffer on the brakes, because you still need to turn the car while the moment you commit onto the brakes, and your braking point would be right, yeah, about, yeah, right as this sort of access road here starts merging or has completely merged onto the track here. Like you'll see this access road on the right, and the moment it has completely merged onto the track and there is no access road left, that's when you can start committing onto the brakes completely. And yeah, try slow down the car from fourth gear down to second gear, and yeah, once again try and hit, yeah, get as close as you possibly can up until the sausage curb, but without touching the sausage curb, or yeah, even ever so slightly touching the sausage curb here, because I think here it's pretty smooth from what I remember, and yeah, all this time you're staying in second gear and run out wide onto the AstroTurf here, and be wary here that this all being one big connected section here, this after negotiating this first part, you can run out wide and basically make full use of the track on the exit here, but just be mindful that this transition off of the curb once again will sometimes cause the front right to just ever so slightly just have a brief moment of not really touching any sort of road surface, which will just, yeah, induce a lot of understeer. So like if you run out too wide here, you will feel the front right of the car just ever so slightly losing grip for a brief moment, which will induce a lot of understeer. So be mindful of that. Try and keep the front right loaded at all times, and yeah, aim for a latish sort of apex for turn 15. Once again, try and get as close as you can to this curb or to this sausage curb. pretty late on into the corner. Like you'll see me ever so slightly clip it even. And yeah, the point of the late apex through turn 15 being that there's a yeah, you as you can see here, like from the outside, it's a bit easier, or I think it's visible a bit easier. Yeah, pretty much straight thereafter follows turn 16, which is once again a right-hander. And if you've taken a late enough apex for turn 15, you can basically floor it on the apex of turn 15 and not have to worry about any sort of lifting through turn 16. So yeah, that's turns 14, 15, and 16 for you. And you'll be coming out on the far left-hand side for the final two corners. The first of which is turn 17, a pretty damn slow right-hander, which at full speed looks like this. So as you can see here, it is pretty close to a hairpin, I think, or it's fair to say it's pretty close to a hairpin, if not actually a hairpin actually. And the angle here is a bit deceiving because it sort of it starts out pretty open and it sort of closes up right as or right on the exit here. So be mindful of that when yeah, preparing this whole corner. And your braking point would be right around 110 meters, I would say. Like right as you approach the 100-meter board, right around here is when I start committing onto the brakes, which would be about 110 meters from the corner. And once again, try and stay on the left-hand side and try and brake as much as you can, or try and get most of the slowing down part done in a straight line. And you will also see that, or also be worried that the incline here changes quite a few times when throughout the braking zone for turn 17. Like you will see here that it starts off with a bit of an incline, but pretty much as you start transitioning into the trail braking and turning in phase, it sort of starts dropping again, which is a bit tricky to handle because right around here you have a tendency, or the car has a tendency to just step out ever so slightly on the rears because of the sudden drop after the incline during the braking zone. So be mindful that yeah, that is basically all the more reason to be a bit more conservative on the brakes here. So yeah, keep that in mind when approaching turn 17. That first of all you need to aim for a late apex in order to point the car towards the exit as quickly as possible, and also whilst braking that there's multiple incline changes once again, which will unsettle the car if you're not careful. So yeah, stay in second gear here. You can use it. You can take the corner at first. I found, but second gear, it obviously doesn't really deliver as aggressive. It doesn't have as aggressive a power delivery as you would in first, which for me personally it helped me get smoother exits here, especially in the BMW and also in the Cadillac. But yeah, you can try it first, obviously, and it actually also helps when you when you have to overtake someone into turn 17. So yeah, if that's the smartest idea, that's for you to find out during IMSA races, I guess. But yeah, there you go. And yeah, once again, try and aim for as straight an exit as possible. Try and straighten out the car as quickly as possible. And right thereafter, on the exit of turn 17, you have a bit of curbing available on the left-hand side, but I have found that it doesn't really it costs me more momentum than it helps me gain lap time by running out wide. So I would recommend staying off the curb here, especially because the car is traveling at really slow speed and there's not really any sort of grip yet, which the downforce would provide. So yeah, running out wide onto this curb on the exit will just basically will only cost you momentum if you're not careful. So yeah, pretty much straight thereafter, you're into the approach for the final corner, turn 18, which at full speed looks like this. So once again, it's a sort of similar-ish situation to, I think it was turn 13, which was this sort of uphill, like in-cambered right-hander in the middle sector. Once again, try and aim for, first of all, your braking point would be at the 50-meter board on the left-hand side. And once again, try and aim for a sort of late-ish apex, because the camber is a bit more consistent here, and it will help you throughout the exit of the corner. But the moment you run wide, the track starts to drop away from you. I'm not sure if you can see it here, but the AstroTurf is slightly off camber, whilst the road surface is cambered towards the inside of the corner. Whereas is cambered to help you, and the AstroTurf is cambered to basically push the car off to the left hand side. So yeah, the later your apex is through here, and the closer you can get to the sausage cup on the inside without touching it once again, the better off you will be when carrying the speed through the exit here. So yeah, keep in mind that when going onto the AstroTurf here, the moment you go into the curb, you want to get at least 90% of the rotation through the corner done in order to avoid running out wide and the AstroTurf and the camber of the AstroTurf sort of dragging you off towards the left hand side and maybe causing you an off track, or maybe even causing you to go off track, or even worse. So yeah, keep that in mind when approaching, when going through the final corner, and all you have to do is a pretty short run to the line, stick it to the left hand side, and yeah, that is one lap of the Shell V Power Motorsports Park International. So I hope you enjoyed this week's track guide, and this being a new track, I hope you enjoy your week of racing and discovering the track for yourself, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week.